mind, from vents of superheated water to the carrion of sunken whales. But now it's time to dive even deeper and discover a place where life is pushed to its absolute limits. For at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean, the sea floor widens into a gaping abyss of obscurities. Fish that seem to lack faces, sprawling fields of bacteria, and giants that resemble life from another planet. Let's take a closer look at the hidden world of the Mariana Trench. The infamous Mariana Trench sits like a crescent-shaped dent in the floor of the Pacific. A 2,550-kilometer-long, 69-kilometer-wide fracture that plummets down into a pure black void. At the bottom, it hosts the deepest known location on Earth, the Challenger Deep, 11,033 meters or 36,200 feet beneath the waves. The trench itself is but one part of a global network of deep scars that cut across the ocean floor. Features that formed from a process called subduction. In the case of the Mariana Trench, the western edge of the Pacific Plate was thrust beneath the smaller Mariana Plate to the west, creating the deep fracture. Molten material then rose through volcanoes near the trench, building the nearby Mariana Islands.
Well done.
You did it, buddy.
Well
you
done.
did it.
We all did it. We all did it. Captain Walsh. Thank you. Thanks for showing the way. You're my hero. Thank you. Oh, you're mine. It was an amazing experience. It was an amazing dive. I think almost exactly 12 hours. About 3.5 down, 4 hours on the bottom. I think the longest anyone's ever been on the bottom of the Challenger Deep. And then about 4 hours up. I went through pretty much all of my electrical power and had to be swapping batteries around and circuits around. It was a great journey. Saw some really interesting things on the bottom.
The footage you're seeing now was taken by an unmanned Japanese submersible called Kaiko in 1996. Having reached a depth of 10,897 meters, it marked the deepest dive for an unmanned submersible at the time. Its goal was to sample bacteria from the mats that Pickard and Walsh had observed nearly 40 years earlier. They found that a number of these bacterial species appeared to be obligately barophilic, meaning they thrived under high environmental pressures, proving that the idea that life could only exist in more moderate conditions was flawed. But in 1998, Kaiko returned to the Challenger Deep and stumbled upon more complex life. Hierondelia gigas, a gigantic amphipod species. This discovery posed a bit of a mystery. The extreme pressures of the deep sea cause calcium carbonate that makes up the shells of amphipods and many marine animals to dissolve more readily in water, leaving their soft bodies vulnerable. As such, amphipods are not usually found below about 5,000 meters or 16,400 feet. And yet here in Kaiko's lights was a giant amphipod, retaining even its tough exoskeleton. It has since been found that they protect their shells using a form of aluminium armour, using chemicals in their gut to extract aluminium ions from the seafloor mud while they forage for food. In their role as detrivores, these amphipods occupy a key role in the ecosystem. They act as a cleanup crew, possessing enzymes that are able to digest even wood. In more recent times, remote submersibles have caught yet more oddities of the Mariana Trench in their headlights.